Buenos Dias Gunners Collective. Back at it, you already know. Like a motherfucker smack at it. Wiki, wiki, wiki. The remix, right? In a menudo style, in a direct fashion, as you can tell by that thumbnail right there, Los Indios, the Native American, my indigenous people, your indigenous people, man. The first ones here, vato. The ones that created this gangster shit, and they don't get no thanks, man. It's just the motherfucker. Whoa, whoa, whoa. These motherfuckers right here, man. Nothing but love and respect to my native people. And sabes que quietly as it's kept, we all got native blood in us. If you don't, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe my statistics are wrong, right? But sabes que, I got a lot of respect and a lot of love for the indigenous people, right? The Native Americans. And you got to understand that there's a lot that are incarcerated. Now, people say these are a different type of people. They ain't like me. They're different. Nah, they are different. See, everyone has their own cultura. Everyone has their own culture. But the Chicano culture, the Mexicano, the Hispanic, the Latino culture, were all derived from Native Americans, homes. Nativos, okay? Indigenous. The real gente. We always talk about the Mayas, the Aztecs, the Incas, but there were several of Spencer. I can't even talk today. There were several other tribes that a lot of us derive from. The Yaquis, the Pomos, the Monos, the Tula. There's a lot of different tribes and different groups that the Latino blood, the sangre, is derived from, And we are always told that we are warriors. My whole life, my tios, everybody that laced me up, big homeboys that were on my level, we all said, hey, we come from warriors, homes. We're Aztecas. We're Mayans, homes. You know what I mean? We're a cultured people. We got a strong cultura, And the Native Americans are never given that respect. In our heritage, in our culture, Chicanos, yes, indeed, man, we put Maya work on us. We put Inca and Aztec work all over us. Jaguars and Aztec calendars and things of that nature, okay? But we're always ingrained in our minds, man, through different cultures that this people were cannibals or were bad or were this or were that. And I'm here to tell you, man, that is not the case. We were warriors. We were a proud people, and we come from proud blood, okay? Proud sangre. So anyways, with that being said, I wanted to give a shout out and respect, first and foremost, to my Native American people. Yes, Native American meaning they're native of this land. This land is my land. This land is your land. So I was getting, nah, this is their land. Okay, we're just here. We just live in it. So I was giving a trip out. At the end of the day, it seems like doing tiempo all the way from a young buck, man, from a BB gun, like they say, all the way to a Mr. Cal 4.5. I've done tiempo and time with a lot of Native Americans. And I'll tell you right now, man, these motherfuckers handle their business. Okay, and I've ran into some vatos that were half Mexicano, half Indio. Talk about, my name is Tanto Rodriguez, in that fashion, right? But they've been down. And I'm not trying to disrespect anyone and sound funny and mess with their culture, man. I got a lot of love and a lot of respect. And them vatos sure can make some fucking fry bread. Orale. But there's a lot of Native people that are incarcerated. And everybody always asks me, hey, Gun, what's up with the get down with the Indios? How do they get down? Well, first of all, they are not Indian, homes. Okay? Sasuke, when Columbus, let me give you a little history lesson. I learned in school. Sasuke. When Columbus came here, he thought he was in India, vato. That's why he called them Indians. They are natives, homes. They have tribal names. Okay? Their heritage, their culture, a lot of it was swept under the rug. A lot of it was Sasuke was brushed off in order for a different type of group segment. We all know who to prosper, right? But this was them, homes. This was all them. Okay? So now they find themselves incarcerated on the rules and regulations and the laws of the land now. Okay? However, whatever happened in the past, man, for it to go that route and for the natives to get swindled and conned out of their fucking land, Sasuke, it happened. Okay, we're going to move on from that. Let bygones be bygones. Right? But now I find myself locked up and incarcerated with a whole bunch of Native Americans, and a whole bunch of people ask me, how do they get down in prison? Well, let me tell you how they get down in prison. They get down like me. They get down like you, homes. They get down, vato. Right? Orale, these vatos get down. Okay? They have their own group faction. And you got to understand, man, there's a lot of Native Americans. You got Norteño Native Americans, Vatos of native blood. Man, I could tell you about one of the first Norteños that I ever ran into as a 12-year-old. I ran into a Vato named Harley Bethel, man. He was from the Pomo tribe out there in Madera, okay? Down-ass homeboy. One of the down-ass homeboys I ever ran into, man, and anyone that was in Nellis can attest to that. The Vato was with the business. Está feo este Vato. Expenso, homie. Pero the Vato was with the business. There was no denying it. And he stood true to his roots. He stood true to his native blood. But he was a Norteño, homes. This is who he identified with. This was the group that he ran with. Yes, you said to yourself, but he was Indio. How can he run with Latinos? This is just the way he did it, bro. I can't call it like an alcoholic. All I can say is this is the route he went. Hey, gracias, because he saved my life a couple different situations. You feel me? But then as time went on and being incarcerated, I started to run into Native American sureños. Natives that were just about their people and their heritage and their cultura, that weren't involved in gangs. You know, and then I ran into some homegrown native gangs, IPO, Indian Pride Organization, AIMS, American Indian organizations. People that were just true to themselves and true to their people. And yes, they rocked that red paño. Yes, at that time, man, it wasn't a red paño like my red paño. It wasn't a red paño like a Sangre's red paño. It was a red paño symbolizing that red skin and that red love that they had, homes. I ain't trying to disrespect nobody. Well, watch out. This is what they did. Okay? And on them yardas in CYA, these vatos ran with whoever they wanted to run with. But they were always respected because everyone knew at the end of the day, a Native American will hold his own, homes. He'll get down just like anyone else. Wasn't no difference, vato. If anything, these vatos were very quiet, very stoic in nature, homes. Very cultured with their people, man. They had a lot of different ways of doing things. But at the end of the day, homes, don't sleep on them. So or you could be slept. You feel me? And now growing up, I got a little bit older, colder, and a little bit bolder. And I ended up going to the penitentiary, to prison. And in prison, man, I started to get indoctrinated and glitched up on the differences between the Native American group faction, the Norteños, the Sureños, oh my, and everybody else, okay? And we had Native homeboys. Oh, don't get it twisted. There was a lot of Native homeboys. And I used to pick their brains, get at them like, hey, bro, so what's up? How'd you? And they said, nah, I just grew up in this neighborhood, bro. It ain't nothing to it but to do it. I got my mind right. I'm going to shine right. I'm going to do what I do. Okay, that's all good. That's all fine and dandy. But I said, but when push comes to shove, where do you stand? He goes, Holmes, that's a question you don't need to ask. You already know where it's at. Okay, but then on the other side of the yada were the natives that kicked it in a group, and I used to see them do their sweats. They used to go to the sweat lodge. They were very cultural, man. They used to smoke their little pipa, their pipes, the sage y todo my, right? They were doing their thing. Okay, and I wasn't mad at them. They'd have their powwows. I started to become accustomed and asked a lot of questions about the Native Americans because, hey, Sasuke, I was wondering, Hums. I was searching. I wanted to know because I myself, yes, indeed, have Yaqui Indian blood in my body, right? My family is actually derived out of Arizona, Hums, with that Yaqui blood. My grandmother on my father's side, orale, Richie Valens' prima. So asking questions, Hums, you'll get the answers. And sometimes you're not going to get the answers you always want to hear, but you're going to get the answer, you know? You know, closed mouths don't get fed. The early bird catches the worm, you know? And I definitely, man, kept the mouth open enough to, man, ask questions and find out the answers that I'd been asking. And one of those questions was, why, if you guys are Native Americans, if they're Native American people, don't they kick it with the Latinos? And first and foremost, the fucking answer that I got was because they're not, Holmes. You know, we're derived from them. They're not derived from us. Okay, they're their own people. They're the ones that got stepped on, Holmes, went to war for this shit, you know? So they believed in their culture. They believe in themselves. So they're their own group. And you go to yardas, man, and there's not a lot of natives, Holmes. There may be a handful. And then you go to some yards, and these vatos are deep. So then I started to wonder, well, who do they kick it with? And I seen in a lot of these places I went to, man, yes, they were their own group, but they actually rode with the gavas, with the white people, the white men. No disrespect, right? And I said, well, how does that work? So I don't, wait, let me, 1-800 Indios are us. Hey, why do you guys, no, fuck no, I'm not going to hold. This is a serious question. Why do you guys ride with the white man if you feel the white man did this to you? And the answer was simple, because we can. Orale, you know what I mean? I don't know why. I can't tell you right here, Gunners Collective, I cannot tell you why they chose to back their play, but they did, which means backing the Gavas play in certain institutions meant that they backed the Sureños play, which means they were against us, right? And here we are, man, being Norteños, We have a lot of Native Americans involved in the Norte. But like I said, there was also a lot of Native Americans involved in the Sur. And I've already broke that down to you guys, man. It doesn't matter about your ethnicity. It doesn't matter about that, man. Once you're embraced as a soldado for the Norte cause, that's it. You now become a norteño. You're no longer fucking Cheyenne Indian. You're no longer fucking Apache. You're no longer Mayan. You're fucking now a homeboy. And that's what it is. We don't give a fuck, like I said, if you're from fucking Oklahoma or fucking bumfuck Egypt. You're with us, you know, until you're against us. But I like the way that these guys carried themselves in prison because they were very respectful is the word. That's the word I could put on it. You know, very respectful. Didn't care about the politics and what other people were doing. Yes, I'm sure they had their own politics, their own makeups, their own get downs, their own rules and regulations for their gente, you know. Basically, I could tell you one of them was don't get involved in what everyone else has going on. They'll stand their ground. They'll stand for theirs, man. And if shit push comes to shove, so I was scared, they're going to fucking hit you with the arrow, right? But at the end of the day, man, they weren't trying to get involved in shit that didn't involve them unless you got them involved. That's what I noticed. But I was always respectful. You know, in any interactions that I ever had with Native Americans, it was always a respectful tip. Now I say to myself, damn, man, they started to accumulate numbers. Towards the end of my career, towards the end of my being locked up, I started to see more and more Native Americans, right? Getting incarcerated. Now, I always thought that they had their own reses, their own reservations, and that they dealt with their own tribal police, and they went to their own jails. But quietly as it's kept, I had a misconception and a fucking fucked up way of thinking. These vatos, so if they want to go to Burger King and have it their way, so they're going to go to Burger King right there in Visa. If they want to fucking go get them a taco from the taco truck in Merced, they're going to do that. And if they just so happen to catch a case right there, well, guess what? Now they go to the California Department of Corrections just like everyone else, you know? And they program. Yes, they run a good program, a tight ship. You know, like I said, they have their extracurricular activities that they're involved in, you know, their powwows, their sweat lodges, things of that nature. That's more religious based to them than it is to us. You know, we're over here like, damn, that shit, that looks hot. I ain't trying to do that. And I myself got invited to a sweat lodge before. And I did the buffalo round, and I burned. I was on there with the dirt, wiping it all over my face. I was trying to bury myself in the mud. It was hot. Orale. You know, you think the hot chip challenge ain't got shit on a fucking buffalo round. But I did get invited to the sweat lodge, and respectfully, I went in, you know, and you leave the gangs, you leave the politics at the door. Okay, that is not allowed into this religious sect of them. Okay, I was asked, and I was privileged enough and honored enough to be involved in the sweat. And they told me there were Sureños that were also in there, and they said, hey, we leave our politics at the door. Everything is left at the door. Please don't disrespect our people. Please don't disrespect the people coming from the outside blessing us with this lodge. Please don't, you know. And I said, hey, that's not even a question you have to ask. I'm a respectful person. And the get down is, bro, you know, out of respect for your people, you don't even got to ask that question. And so I did that. And I became in tune with myself. I became in tune with my native blood, homes. I got to asking questions about, you know, the tribe that my family is derived from, the Yaquis. I got to ask questions about different tribes and find out that at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, it's all the same damn thing. There might be a couple little different geography get downs, and maybe these vatos hunted buffalo or these vatos fucking hunted salmon. At the end of the day, it's just whatever was in that area. Okay? They all were hunters. They all were survivors. Vato. They were all warriors. You know? And our culture, the cultura de Chicanos, right, is derived from them, bro. And I see it every day. You can see it, bro. You can see it in the way our facial features are, the way we carry ourselves, the stoic way of thinking, the professionalism we carry ourselves. There's nothing more to be said, man. You got to respect and pay homage to the people that were here before you, the elders. And these vatos are the elders. Now, I did time with vatos, and I always tripped out. Damn, why you guys got feria, homes? Because every Indio I was ever around, homes, these motherfuckers had paper, bro. And then they broke it down to me, and they said, Sawaskia, we're getting reparations. Basically, our tribe is getting back, homes, feria from fucking having our land took. And I said, Sawaskia, what about the Mexicans? He said, what about you? I said, Spencer, right? And it wasn't that they were feeling the type of way. He was just giving me the rundown, you know, the straight up, the logistics of it. And that's what it was. But to sit down and to actually have a conversation with a real Native American, man, and hear their ways of thinking is cool. You know what's cool? Because it takes you back, Holmes. And like I said, I've always loved the aspect of Glecha. I've always loved education. I've always strived for education. Just because I'm a non-active fucking norteño and I don't get involved in the politics of what they got going on, sabes que doesn't mean that I'm still not striving for the betterment of myself and the people around me. Glecha, Holmes, is where it's at. You know, lead me to the water and I'll drink. But not if there's fentanyl in it. I'm cool with that shit. But it was cool. It was cool to get in tune and tap in with the people that we're derived from. You know, because I feel the warrior spirit, Holmes. I feel every time I'm about to go behind a handball court, or every time I'm on a calle and someone else of a different ethnicity fucking gets at me some type of way, or even a different member of the raza community gets at me some type of way in a bad manner. They're looking at me funny. They want to get down. So you want to, that's where we're going to go. The warrior takes over me. It's the warrior mentality, and this mentality is derived from the ancient Aztecas, the Mayans, the Incas, and all the other tribes, Homes, that no one talks about. Okay? And then you ask yourself, hey, the norteños, man, they got a lot of different ways of communication. Why do they use the Nahuatl language to communicate? Because we got in tune with the ancient Aztec languages, Homes, the ancient people's languages. See, everything always goes back to the natives, Homes, to the Indios, when it comes to this fucking Chicano fucking heritage that we got going on here. That's just the way it goes down, you know? So I wanted to touch on the Native Americans that are being incarcerated in the masses. You're starting to notice a lot more of them, right? Now, in other states, Oklahoma, all these other states where they got a big prominent community, of course, there's going to be more incarcerated than others. But in California, I just started to notice an influx of Native Americans being incarcerated. And like I said, their get down on the yarda is just like anyone else. They hold it down for their people. They got their own little people. They got their own handball court in their bars, right? They're doing their thing, man. They're not to be slept on because, like I said, just like anyone else, they'll handle their business and they will go to the motherfucking fullest, period. Plain and simple. Ask no questions. They'll tell you no lies. Real deal. So I just wanted to touch on the subject, man. You know, I've done time with a lot of Native brothers. You know, brothers that rode with the Native car and were down with that. Hey, nothing but respect highly. And then a lot of natives that were norteños, you know, and didn't look at it any type of way. But it was a trip, man, because I'd see them over there praying, Homes, with their feathers and doing their thing. And I said, hey, Sasuke, fuck that feather. Homes, pick up the pedazo. And he says, mine's is already ready to go, brother. And I said, ooh, wee, right? These motherfuckers was down for the cause, Homes. But they just were in touch with their people. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Just like me, you know, so I got the Virgin right here, puro Catholic doing my thing, you know. I'm in touch with my heritage, my cultura, my people. And I'm not saying that just because I'm a raza, meaning I have to go that route, but that's the route how I was raised and the route I went, you know. And likewise with them. But it didn't mean at no point in time, Homes, anything came before the Norte, because at that point in time, Homes, that's what I was all about. And in that fashion, right? And the homeboys felt the same damn way. And I'm sure over there on the Sul side, the vatos that were Native American felt the exact same way. Like I said, man, it's not about who you are. It's about where you're at, vato, and how you act when you're there. Get there, Homes. Anyways, man, I hope that you move fast with a purpose. I hope that you got everything that you want coming to you. Remember, at the end of the day, man, treat all people with respect if you want to be respectfully treated. If not, sounds good. They might hit you with a hot one. You never know, man. One time for your mind. I hope that you guys get everything that you want coming to you. Remember, man, it's all about picking your people up, lifting them up, and coming together as a raza, as gente, as people. That's what we do. That's what the push for is. That's what the strive is for. The bang, bang, Mr. Gun Gun. Like and subscribe, please. If not, so get thumbs down. It don't matter. But at the end of the day, it's all about the gente. Bang, bang, the gun.